the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.
G'day, viewers and listeners. It's Ed Fox with Nashville 2. And of course, Nashville 2 is about telling the story of people around Nashville. It's all these little business owners and mentors and entrepreneurs and all sorts of stuff. And today, I'm honored to have on my show Aaron Walls. And Aaron, you're in Murfreesboro, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and we met through the networking group the other day. Aaron, you own Graphics 615. Tell me a little bit about how you got into this industry.
Sure. Well, I have a history degree, and I was a history teacher here in Rutherford County.
Okay.
And
well, that just makes sense to get into the graphics industry.
It was a natural transition. Yeah. What happened was I bought it all really comes down to my truck. I bought a Nissan Titan.
Right.
And I joined a few of the Nissan groups on Facebook, and there was a guy who was moving overseas and selling his business, and it was the summer, it was between school years, and I just thought, man, that'd be a lot of fun. I want to see about talking. So I talked to this fella, and I bought his business, and I bought his website, and he was down in Texas, so obviously it wasn't Graphics 615. I rebranded it.
Right.
But I guess, one thing led to another. I started meeting people, making sales, and really enjoying the process. And so this is my thing now. It's what I'm doing full time.
So how long have you had that for?
It'll be 3 years this summer.
Oh, wow.
And years about July 1st be 3 years.
Okay. And what do you focus on? What are you able to have most impact with, or what do you spend a lot of your time doing, and what sort of clients do you help out?
Yeah. Mostly what I do is personalized vehicles. So if you, for example, for personal vehicles, if you have a truck or people with Jeeps, I've got a Wrangler. Jeep people love to spend their money. So I make a lot of flags and compasses and stripes, and I put people's Instagram handles on their glass and things like that. But also a lot of what I do is help business people tag their work trucks or their work vans or whatever. If you see a plumber or an electrician or whoever with their business branded on their vehicle, I do that.
Did you do who did I run into the other day? David, the Steak and Shake owner on Old Fort Road. Did you do his on the back of his SUV?
I did. So he's
okay.
He's got an Acura SUV, and we put the Steak and Shake logo on the back, and I did that, and I also did his doors for his store. So he had bought the franchise, and the signage on his doors were starting to age and kind of crack and weather, and he had changed the store hours, and so I updated the vinyl on the doors for his location there on Old Fort.
And it's not too expensive. I've looked into it for my vehicles and had a coffee shop in Wichita, Kansas, where I spent the last 30 years until I moved to Nashville. Now I'm in Franklin, which is a lot of fun. We lived in Bowling Green for a year, and I'd drive down to Nashville. That sucked. But living in Franklin, I'm getting to know all the great places around here. And actually, I'll ask you for some tips here in a minute. But the idea of being able to help out businesses with their graphics, now my wife said, hey, you're not allowed to put anything on your car unless you drive a lot nicer. And so I had a business in Wichita called the Coffee News. And we were able to wrap the car, and I learned to drive a lot nicer when I wrapped my car, right? But you don't do full vehicle wraps.
Yes.
You do mostly individual graphics.
Right. So a vehicle wraps take it's a different set of equipment, and you've got to have, I don't want to compare it to, surgery, but you've got to have kind of a sterile environment, because if dust particles or anything gets on the vehicle and then you apply the vinyl, you're going to see every little bump and every little pock mark underneath it. So that is a different animal, but
So more like window graphics and back of car graphics and side. But it's a really inexpensive way to get your message out there about your business. I feel.
it is. So we talk about Dave's vehicle. I put the Steak and Shake logo on the back. It was $75.
Right.
It's a one-time expense, and if you're local to Middle Tennessee, if you're local to Murfreesboro, you know how bad traffic is. So Dave's got a captive audience. The people behind him cannot help but start getting hungry for steak burgers when they see him in traffic. And it was $75. So compare that to a billboard, $600, $800 a month, and a 12-month agreement on that.
And the rest, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I bought a billboard up in Wichita on the main thoroughfare, and you don't see as much traffic in Wichita as you do here. I mean, our idea of rush hour when I lived in Wichita was 5 minutes. It took you 5 minutes longer to get across town, and they go for $2,000 a month for those billboards. So I think as long as you drive sanely and you're good at letting people in and not cutting people off,
be courteous.
Yeah. Be courteous, and then you can put stuff on your car. So I was telling you, I had my coffee. I had a little Kia Soul, and I had it wrapped in coffee news. And then one time I was late for an appointment, and I didn't really pay a lot of attention, and I moved over and I cut this lady off, and then my phone rings because my number's right on there, right?
Oh no!
He goes, "Your guy driving your car just about ran me off the road," and I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't run her off the road." I said, "No joke. I'm sick and tired of him. I'm going to fire him today." And she goes, No. I'm just saying that he's got to pay more attention. No. I'm done. I'm done with his stuff. And of course, it was me. It was me.
He's
driving.
done for. He's goner.
He's gone now. Thank you so much for calling in.
This was the last straw.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I said, actually. This is the last straw. So, but anyway, I think you're right. So you do all sorts of business stuff. You can do personal stuff. And you're right. It's very inexpensive. And so are you enjoying this journey? And now you're doing it full time, right?
Yes, sir. And I've always, when I was a kid and a student, I always took art classes, and I've always enjoyed, the creative process. I do some woodworking and I play music, and so I enjoy creating things and seeing the finished product. So, when I take a roll of vinyl and put it on the machine does the cutting, and then I pull away everything that is not the finished product and put it in the trash, and then the finished product, it just always comes out and looks real good.
Yep. And so what would you say if a small business owner is sitting out there and they've maybe thought about putting some graphics on their car or stuff? You got any tips? You got any things that they need to be aware of? Because I think a lot of times you could overpay for that stuff. And I think working one-on-one with an individual like you who owns and runs the business, I think there's some big advantages to it.
Sure. Well, I'll be a little self-serving and say, if you live in Middle Tennessee, the number one tip I could give you is to call me.
Fair enough. Yeah, I get it.
But, I would say, you can get on online and do your due diligence, do some research on what the going rate is on things. You want vinyl, you want to make sure that it's an outdoor rated vinyl, because they make indoor vinyls that are not going to hold up. You want to talk to somebody and see that they have, that they guarantee their work. So the vinyl that I use is a 6-year indoor outdoor, which exceeds the average lifetime of how long a person owns a car.
Right.
My vinyl will probably last longer than you own your car. And if it doesn't, let me know. I guarantee my work against, natural wear and tear.
Sure.
And it's safe in a car wash. The only thing that I've seen that really is not good for it is a pressure washer. If you hit the vinyl with a pressure washer, it'll tear it up.
You're gonna lift it right off, yeah.
Right, but a car wash with all the brushes on it, I've never had any trouble on my personal vehicle or on any. I've never had a customer.
Right. So I've got your card right here, Aaron.
Yes.
The best way for them to get a hold of you, I guess, is the 615-796-3893.
That is my phone number.
Yep.
That's my phone. And then my email is also on there.
Okay. It's graphics, GRAFIX 615. There you go. At .com. Graphics, GRAFIX 615.com. So for those of you watching us on YouTube, Aaron just held up his card. For those of you listening, don't try and write while you're driving. It'll be in the show notes, folks. It'll be in the show notes. So you can pull up the show notes on Spotify and YouTube and all the great podcast platforms. So Aaron, when you're not working, what are you doing?
I've got 2 kids.
There you go. Okay.
My wife and I have an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they're wonderful. They're both super smart and a lot of fun.
So they get it from their mom?
They do.
Yeah.
They do. They get their good looks and their hair from me.
Right.
They get their personality, their charm, and their intelligence from their mother.
Right.
But we as a family, we really enjoy camping.
Okay.
And Middle Tennessee is great for that. We went, I mean, you can go up to Percy Priest, there's 7 Points, there's Long Hunter, there are other campgrounds up there, and then out Center Hill way, you can go to Long Branch, which is right there at the foot of the dam. There's great fishing there at the Caney Fork at the dam there at Center Hill. Fall Creek Falls is not far.
I got a dad joke for you.
Okay. 2
fish swimming upstream. One runs into a concrete wall, looks at the other one, says, "Damn." That's my dad.
I got a joke you might like as an Australian.
Okay.
When I made this joke up. It may not be very good.
Okay, we'll see.
When I was 10 years old, my grandparents gave me a boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
And I went outside and I threw it as hard as I could. And I've been looking over my shoulder ever since.
Yeah. So that's good. So what do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A stick.
There you go.
My other one is, you know why birthdays, boomerangs make the best birthdays? Many happy returns. So, those are a couple that I've got.
I like that one.
Thanks.
Many happy returns.
So that's what I used to do on Facebook. I would send my friends picture of a boomerang and I wish them many happy returns.
Very good.
So I think that'd be fun. You could buy a bunch of little boomerangs and put them in a box, and you could use it as a tool to get new business, right? Like if you know somebody's birthday, you send it to them in a box and said, "I just want to send you many happy returns. Enjoy the boomerang."
There you go.
There you go. That's free business advice, folks. My favorite one is those transparent feet that you can buy off Amazon. They're like $8, right? They're like a little mannequin foot. You could put shoes, I put them in shoes and stuff. And so I said, you buy a bunch of those and you could send them to the guys that you want to be your client. And you could say, "Hey, let me just be completely transparent with you. I'm just trying to get a foot in the door."
There you go. Hope we get off on the right foot.
That's right. I hope we get off on the right foot. I'm going to add that line. That's pretty good.
Just make sure that they're not left feet. Make sure they're right feet.
What? Yeah, that's a good point. So that's good. See, we should talk more. Like we could use some of that. We could start a marketing agency now.
We are a couple of masterminds. There's no question.
Yeah, thanks to our wives, probably. But
Uh-huh.
I've been married to them. I say I've been married to the most wonderful wife in the world. I've got a picture right here. Most wonderful wife in the world for 32 years last week. So
congratulations.
That's back before I found my Aussie hat made out of kangaroo leather. So now and I lost a few pounds since then. So you'd like to go camping. We've heard about a few places. You can shoot me the links on those if you will, and we'll put them in the show notes. What else? If I'm living in Franklin, or if I'm living in Hendersonville, or maybe I'm up by Dixon or Clarksville. Is Clarksville?
Clarksville's up by the Kentucky line, yeah.
Right. So if I'm living there and I've maybe never been to Murfreesboro, but I'm going to come down to Murfreesboro, what do I need to see or do? What's some cool stuff around Murfreesboro?
Okay. Well, I tell you, I like Murfreesboro a lot because, like, the thing I like about it is it's not Nashville. It's smaller, but I'm 30 minutes from the airport. I'm 40 minutes from downtown. But in Murfreesboro, I mean, any kind of food you want, just about any kind of, there's, all kinds of shopping if that's your thing. We're really fortunate in Murfreesboro to have our Greenway system. It's a paved trail from the south end of town to the north end of town, and this, you can get on the city's website and see, but it's like 25 miles of trail that
really?
run along the Stones River. So you can walk it, you can walk your dog, you can bike, we've put our canoe in and canoed the river. We fished the river. So the Greenway is probably the real hidden, and it is hidden in a lot of ways, because it runs right through the middle of the city, but people that don't know it's there don't know it's there.
Well, I've been here. I've owned the business for a year and a half, maybe 2 years, close to 2 years. And this is the first I'm hearing of the Greenway in Murfreesboro. So
it's fantastic.
I appreciate you sharing.
One of the best parts of our city.
That's cool. And so there's parking areas where you can park and just walk it. So we have, there are trailheads throughout the city. Okay.
So at the south end of town, the Barfield Park trailhead is like 2 miles that way from where I'm sitting.
Okay.
And you can park and walk it, bike it. You can, like I said, put your canoe or your kayak in the river. And then every so often throughout the city, there's a trailhead at Cason Lane. There's a trailhead at Manson Pike, and there are all kinds of places where you can park,
right,
and head north or south, and just enjoy but it runs right through the middle of town. It runs past the Stones River Country Club. It runs past the Old Fort Park. It runs past the golf course. It's fantastic. Cannonsburg. Cool.
Well, I'll be interested in walking that. You got any cricket fields in Murfreesboro? Have you seen any guys playing cricket, like Indians, Pakistanis? No?
I know of. I used to play church softball, but I've never played cricket.
Okay. Well, I hear there's like 50 cricket teams in the Nashville Metro, so I'm hoping to find a team to play with next year or this summer coming. Okay, so we've got the Greenway, we've got the park system that you like to camp at. You got shopping. I don't like shopping. I like buying. That's what I like to do. Go in, typical guy. Go in, hunt it down, kill it, drag it out. Even if it's only a packet of candy from Walmart. That's get in, get out. But what else? Anything? You guys have a big movie theaters? Probably. You probably have all your AMC's and Regals and that sort of stuff down there.
So Murfreesboro, yeah, we have 2 theaters. One that I've not been to is at the Stones River Mall, and it's supposed to be real nice. It's been open for a couple of years. We don't get out much, having a couple of kids. Yeah. But my favorite place to see a movie is over in Woodbury. There's a drive-in.
Oh, okay.
And they have 2 screens, and we like to we like to take the truck and lawn chairs and set up the lawn chairs in the bed of the truck and get a couple slices of pizza and a Coke and watch, and usually it's a double feature. They'll show 2 movies, and the kids might fall asleep in the bed of the truck during the movie, and if they do, they do. But Woodbury's it's the next county over. It's about half an hour from here, so that's
further east.
Yes. It's in Cannon County.
I'm coming from Franklin. It's 30 minutes to Murfreesboro, and then 30, so I can be there in an hour.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. It's in Cannon County.
Okay, so my favorite thing to do, so I had a little Kia Soul, and I've got a Lazy Boy, like a big leather Lazy Boy recliner, and it comes in 2 pieces, and I would chuck that back in the Kia Soul, and my wife used to work 3rd shift, right? And so I would go to the drive-in by myself, and I would have my Lazy Boy, I'd pull it out of the back of the Kia Soul and set it up in the empty stall beside me, and then people would come by and take pictures. They're like, now that's the way to do it. That's back before plasma and big screen TVs. But that was my way to do the driving. Of course, I got lucky. It never actually rained on me when I did that. But Wichita, if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute, So.
We went and see that during the pandemic, there weren't a whole lot of new movies coming out.
Yep.
So we went and saw the complete Star Wars trilogy,
Okay.
the original 3 in Woodbury, and I think it was during the first one, it got to raining pretty good, and we just sat there with our umbrellas and watched the movie in the rain.
Yep. Okay, I have 3 questions for you now.
Okay.
Star Wars or Star Trek? I think I already know the answer.
Star Wars, easy.
Okay.
I grew up on Star Wars.
Okay. Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings.
Again, I could have picked that one because you're a D&D guy and a magic guy, so I knew that.
Yeah.
I'm
a big Tolkien guy.
Okay. Okay, now this one could be a little tougher. Chicken and waffles or not chicken and waffles?
Oh, I like chicken and waffles.
I cannot do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the the savory sweet combination.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you know what I'll have to do? I'll have to bring the Vegemite to one of our networking events sometime and let me try the Vegemite. So, okay, that's I could have got 2 out of 3, but I wouldn't have got the 3rd one. So very good. Hey, it's been great having you on the show, Aaron. Any last minute thoughts? If people want to get a hold of you, we've already done the phone number. We'll put it in the show notes. Guys, I've seen Aaron's work. He does great work. If you're a business owner, you need decals on your vehicle, or maybe you just need the decals on the door. If you got a drive-through, maybe you need something on the drive-through. So there's a lot of things that you can use for. And normally, if you've got a line drawing, Aaron, you can pretty much use your computer and your cutter to cut everything that's not licensed, right? You won't touch copyrighted material unless they can prove that they're the copyright owner. But I can do, and I would say too that I do a lot of image repair. If you have old, even digital files can degrade, which was a surprise to me. That was something I learned, that if you've got a business card and it sits on the dashboard of your car for a week, the colors are going to fade, and the physical media will degrade, but a digital file will degrade as well. And so if you have a picture, if you have files that you think, well, I can't do anything with this, the odds are that someone can repair those files, and I can do some of that for your business cards or your logos or just whatever. I also make shirts and tote bags and koozies and things like that. So with vinyl or with ink?
With vinyl. With vinyl. Okay. So I've got a couple of samples here of some things. But yeah, I'll just.
Aaron just snuck out of the room, guys, to go get one of his shirt samples to hold up for those of you viewing.
This is a tote bag, and it says Titan. It's a Nissan Titan canvas tote bag, and so I
in the back of the letters, like the
So I basically took the flag and combined it with the logo and the text, and did that, and then I did something similar on an apron. So if you've got, So like I said, a lot of what I do is a lot of the kind of the fun stuff that I do is for Titan people, because I still am really involved in the Titan community, and the Jeep Wrangler community, and in the Nashville, Middle Tennessee business community. Those are kind of my big.
I thought it was pretty cool when I got here that Nissan Stadium was sponsoring the Titans, and I'm thinking, well, there's a whole marketing campaign there. I'm a Nissan guy. I've had a Pathfinder, and right now I'm driving a Frontier. I want the Titans before they got so big, but the Titan to me is just too big to park anywhere. But I'm just like, I would like the Titan for what it can do. I'd like to be driving it between Nashville and Wichita, but the Frontier has been a beast. So I love that.
Frontier's a good truck.
Yeah, I really do. Nissan, hang on. Nissan, if you're listening and you want to sponsor the podcast and the video cast for Nashville too, you can send me a big fat check and we'll talk about you every show.
I'm on the third Titan, and I've loved every one.
Right. Yeah, so I bought this Nissan. I bought this Frontier. Sorry, folks, if you're tired of listening about trucks, we are in Middle Tennessee. You know, we're not talking guns. That might be next, but trucks. So I bought this Frontier. It was a wreck, right? It was wrecked, and I saw what he paid for it. And I went in, and it was during COVID. He said, "I haven't sold anything in weeks. You got to buy this truck." I said, "Well, you know, I know you paid $2,800 for it. I figure you got about $7,000 into repairs, so you got about $9,000 into it." I said, "But you probably did the repairs yourself, so you probably saved $4,000. I tell you what, I'll buy it from 9.5. You got 11 on it. I'll buy it for 9.5. He said, "How do you know what I paid for it?" I said, "I found it on an auction site, and I know that you bought it wrecked." He said, "Okay." So I showed him the listing. He said, "Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was out there." So I bought it, hopped in it that day. My wife's car had broken down that I'd driven to Tennessee from Wichita, and I hopped into this truck and just drove it to Wichita, and then back, and then back, and then back. And then I brought my son with me to drive her car back when it was fixed. That thing has just been a beast. And
they're bulletproof.
I love it.
They're bulletproof.
Yeah. So anyway, hey, Aaron, great to have you on the show. Thank you very much. And
thank you for having me.
Yeah, no worries. I definitely think if you're a business person in Middle Tennessee, you need to hit up Aaron and get him to do the vinyl. And quite honestly, folks, I have used vinyl guys in Wichita, and he's about half the price of what a lot of these guys charge. So I've either got to talk him into putting his prices up, or you're going to get a good deal until he puts his prices up. So definitely hit Aaron up and get some of the graphics done you need for your business. Aaron, shoot me an email with the information in the show notes, and as soon as I've got that, I'll edit this and we'll chuck it up on the website, YouTube, LinkedIn, and all the podcast platforms. Thanks for being on the show.
Perfect. It was a pleasure. I'll see you next Monday, I reckon.
Yeah, next Monday I'll be in Murfreesboro at the networking meeting. Thank you.
I'll see you there.
This is the Nashville 2 podcast with your host, Edward Fox.